Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, dependent, of course, on when and where you are joining us from. This is F1 Live Banter, your place for F1 chatter, and we have a full house today.
We do.
Shall we go around the room and do a couple of introductions?
Starting with the Aussie.
Starting with yeah, she's only a week late. I mean, it would have been good if she did that. Well, 2 weeks late, should I say.
She just opened the door herself.
Yeah, I know. Do you want to kick us off, Alex?
Yeah. Hello, all. Looking forward to another race weekend. We're at Japan this weekend. I am Alex, as Jordan said, otherwise known as the bearded sales guy.
I'm Mark, otherwise known as Hollingsworth Worth McMillian. For those of you who don't know, he was a NASCAR driver whose greatest finish was 30th. So I'm also looking forward to Japan. I play F1 on the iPad app, and it's the one circuit that I can just never get right.
Oh, it's impossible. I've got the steering wheel and pedals set up, and I game on PlayStation, and it's such a tough track.
Yeah, it's difficult because it's always, you don't know when it's going to rain, so I'm always caught out with tires, and it's just one of those circuits. So if it's bad enough for me, I'd hate to be a multi-million-dollar team that has to deal with it. So there you go. Anyway, I'm Mark.
I feel left out. I feel like I'm probably the only one on this call that doesn't have the F1 game.
Well, there you go.
I guess it's time.
Yeah. Is that PS5 or 4 or Xbox?
No, I just use the iPad. There's an iPad app. It's brilliant.
Oh, okay.
I'm in team, don't know why, but I'm in Team Yorkshire F1. They invited me. I'm there. So, and just when I'm sitting, there's nothing on the television. I just sit and play away.
Nice.
Brilliant. Just takes it's one of those things that keeps the mind focused.
Yeah. And
some people do Sudoku. I do Formula One.
Nice. And in case anyone was wondering, where are you from, Mark?
I am from a small village called Aberdeen, up in Scotland.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. Northeast of Scotland. We obviously very, I think Mr. Coulthard and then Jackie Stewart before him. I actually used to race model cars. My father was third in the world for quarter scale cars. So, and he also had a model shop in Aberdeen. So racing's been in my blood from a very, 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 very young age when it comes to model car racing anyway. And then that obviously translates into that. We actually raced with an ex-Jaguar driver, a guy called Ian Stewart, who owns several farms in the Perth area, but he drove for Jaguar in the 60s and 70s. So there you go.
Nice.
He's a good friend of my father's. So
nice. Well, it's great to have you on this week, Mark.
No problem. Thanks very much for having us.
How long do you think it'll be before we have a Grand Prix in Scotland?
Well, if we become independent first, then there's every chance that they'll make the A1. You know, just a bit above Scott's Corner. They might just make that a big circuit. So you never know.
Brilliant.
We'll do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone's been to Knockhill, I've done the Knockhill experience up in Scotland, and it's fantastic. So if you get a chance, there's obviously Silverstone experience and such like, but when you do the Knockhill experience, I remember I did it in an old XR2, and I've never had a car. Never drove a car that stuck to the road. It was so stiff and it just stuck to the road. And it was an XR2. I got on a single seater, spun it 3 times, got black flagged, told to come off. But hey, hats off to these guys because it's not about speed. It's about cornering, braking, and Knockhill's a great example of a circuit. Come to the end of the straight. You have to get the braking right because you're down into 3 kind of corners immediately, down a big hill. So, awesome. If you ever get a chance, try Knock Hill up in beside Dunfermline, not far.
Yeah, I've just had a little look. I mean, it's fairly reasonably priced as well. 185 quid for the experience.
It will be compared to other, larger circuits and well-known circuits. But I remember I think it was about 45 drivers on the day, and I was third. And they don't do it based on lap times or speeds. They do it based on your progression. From when you get in the car, you get 5 laps, and the guy talks you through. He says, "This is where I want you to brake. This is where I want you to steer. This is where I want you to hit the accelerator." And you're actually scored on those elements of how much you improve based on his kind of input and feel, stuff like that. It's not about you're not. It's not a timed lap or anything. It's about you're hitting the brake points that he said you want to hit consistently. You're going into the corner where he wants you to go in. And he also, it's really great because he actually says, go a wee bit early or go a wee bit late. And then they take 4 of you around in the car and he's driving and he shows you, look, this is what happens if you go into the end of the straight at Knock Hill. If you don't get the braking point right and you don't get the corner right, it messes you up for 4 or 5 corners after. Yeah. It really does. And he shows you, he says, yeah, okay, you're quick down here, but watch how much time you lose going here because you're too wide, you're in the wrong place for that. So it's, the quality of the drivers there and the tutors, instructors, top notch. Worth a good day up. Worth a good day out for you.
Nice.
Well, maybe we do that as our end of year party.
There you go.
Cool. So finishing the intros. Or who's next?
Jordan.
All right, go on. I'm Jordan Abbott, the sales poet. Looking forward to what should be an interesting weekend at Suzuka. Hoping we see Yuki on the podium. Unlikely though it may be. I just love to see the reaction from the Japanese fans seeing one of their own up on the podium.
Yeah, it'd be funny to see him standing on the top step, still smaller than everyone else. Yeah. Who's next?
Augusto.
Alrighty, hello everyone. Happy Friday. A little bit earlier here still, early in the morning. Just checking the highlights from FP1 and FP2. Well, hopefully, Red Bull's not going to take over this weekend. You can see a Ferrari 1-2 again. And remember, last week, I told you guys, 2 weeks ago, I told you it was going to be a Ferrari 1-2. They just swap around. We didn't win with the best car, but we still win.
Yeah. There were some big points and big changes in our championship.
Oh, yes. It's 4 points away.
The other one.
Go say that again, George. What was that? Some big changes in our...
Some big changes, yeah.
And who's now top?
We'll get onto it. Hold your horses.
How's your bingo card,
Jensen? Don't, that was awful. It's not going well. I need...
To be fair, that's all that really matters.
I need to pay some just stop oil protesters to run on the track just so I can tick a box off. But yeah, no, on that note, hail Jensen Abbott, BDR at content.ai. Really looking forward to the Japanese Grand Prix. And all of a sudden just had a little burst of energy. So feeling good on a Friday.
Oh, love to hear it. Love to hear it. So we've got it was an action-filled race in Melbourne. There's definitely some things that we'll come on to. Some rumours going on in the background as well, and we will come on to that. But first, we'll do the customary little slideshow, just explaining the track and previous winners. Let me just get it up, and while I'm doing that, speak amongst yourselves.
So I'm on the app again. It seems, does it change each time? The F1 app for the Fantasy League?
I think.
So you click
what
Fantasy.
What do you have there?
Yeah.
I'm looking for leagues. Leagues used to be at the top, no?
Yeah, so you should have home, my team, leagues, statistics, prizes, what's new, how to play. and that you can scroll from left to right at the top, right, where just underneath where it says F1 Fantasy.
Yeah, mine doesn't have my team. Okay, where are we? Can you see on your app?
I
can.
will happily do the honors here. Happily. Although my phone isn't quite working. But in first place, we have 99.9 million problems on 523 points. 1 point behind that, we have Chocolate Leclerc sitting at 522. Third place, we've got Augusto's F1 sitting at 519. We then have Rud Bull. I love the name. Rud Bull sitting in fourth place, 475. Then we have finally the bearded sales guy sitting at 428 points in fifth.
How does that happen? I was in first
no.
place.
You were running away with it, it seemed.
know.
You were a mile ahead.
Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
You have his double points, right?
Yeah, and you had minus. He got minus because he was out. So I think you go from -10 to -20.
Ooh, damn it.
Cool.
Okay.
So, can you please let my screen share in?
Yeah, 1 second.
I hope that the F1 this year is as disputed as our F1 Fantasy.
Yeah.
Because it's 5 points away, the first three
Yeah.
teams.
We just need Max to get ill for a long period of time.
When is he going to take his appendix, right?
Yeah. Well, no, we don't want that to happen because clearly that makes you better. That is what 200 grams lighter and makes all the difference.
Put him another one.
Brilliant. So let's skip ahead. Japanese Grand Prix. Is it a little bit too loud?
No.
No, all good. So the first Grand Prix was held here in 1987. Nigel Mansell will remember that weekend quite well because he suffered a crash in qualifying, which essentially handed the championship that year to Nelson Piquet.
Hands up if you weren't born then. There you go.
The track was initially designed by a chap, or commissioned, should I say, by a chap called Soichiro Honda. You might have heard of his car company. He was basically looking to turn Honda into a bit of an automotive powerhouse, and he decided one of the ways he would do that is to build their own test track. And then the track was designed by a Dutchman called John Hugenholtz. And the initial drawing actually had the track pass over and under itself 3 times, which I think is the design that they really should have gone with.
That's actually his signature. Did you know that?
Is it actually? Or are you pulling my leg?
It's a Dutchman's. No, that's a Dutchman signature, honestly.
So, circuit is 5.807 kilometers long, 53 laps, and Hamilton, of course, holds the lap record with a time of 1 minute 30.981 seconds, 18 corners, 10 right, 8 left. In terms of previous winners, we have, give it a second. So we've got Schumacher with 6 wins, Vettel and Hamilton with 4 wins each. And then we've got Senna, Damon Hill, and Mika Hakkinen, each with 2 wins. And there are a couple of one-time winners as well in the mix. Previous winners, we've got Verstappen for the last 2 years. Then it was Bottas before COVID happened, and then Hamilton. And then on to, I think, the section that we're almost eagerly anticipating, championship table. Jensen has stormed out into the lead with Leclerc, a correct answer for Leclerc to finish second, and the Leclerc fastest lap. Augusto, we need some results from you. Is this week the week?
Oh yeah, I'm feeling like Logan Sargent, man.
Yeah.
No, well, he put it in the wall.
Please don't replace me.
Yeah.
Put it in the wall again. In terms of bingo cards, so gents, you're actually coming close to getting some. We've got Albon, 2 or more ghost crashes. Are we including crashes that take place outside of the race? Because he did have a ghost crash to put it in the wall in Melbourne, didn't he? There was no other cars involved. Are we giving him that?
You tell us, Jensen. How do you feel about it?
I mean,
Please.
I'll leave it. I'll leave it to the board. I'll leave it to the board to decide.
But you've also got 2 Norris
Because
podiums, and
he did race though.
He was on the podium last week, 2 weeks ago, should I say? So you've got a couple that could be coming in.
And also, did Max throw a temper tantrum when he's back right caught on fire?
I think before
he definitely blamed the car.
Yeah.
So,
well, didn't he blame someone?
So as Murray Walker would have said about that hitting the wall, he would have said, "How you can crash into a wall without it being there in the first place is beyond him." There you go. That's a Murray Walkerism for Albon's crash. So maybe it was a goal. I don't know.
okay. On that note, I think we'll give it to him. You've got one more. You need one more Albon ghost crash.
Okay. I mean, with Max DNF in, I think that helps with the Red Bull to score no more than 760 points as well.
Oh, mate, I think that one's already a foregone conclusion. I cannot see them scoring less than 760 points this year if the first 2 races were anything to go by. Alex, you're still missing 2.
Okay. I'm going to have to come back to those.
Okay.
Can you, after the show, remind me what the categories were? Or was it whatever I wanted?
Yeah, whatever you fancied.
Okay.
If we get rain this weekend, a McLaren 1-2 is possible.
Yeah.
Piastri's doing well in practice, and Norris is never far behind. So that's a good shout this weekend.
Yeah, Piastri came out saying that the improvements are a lot better than they we could see. It seems like he's feeling confident in the car.
Do you know what tyres he was on though in P2? He was fastest.
It doesn't say. I don't know.
Yeah.
What was that?
He put
Hamilton went on softs, but I don't know what.
Went on softs.
Because I don't know if you noticed, he's still 4 seconds off of Verstappen, but I don't know when from P1. But I don't know when the rain came. Was the rain there? Was it damp throughout the session?
Yeah. It was a late lap that secured that time, but it was still greasy.
They started on intermediates,
right?
I believe, so.
Yeah, big temperature difference from FP1 to FP2.
Yeah. Indeed. Shall we do predictions now, or are we going to come back to?
Just before we do, can you just remind me what Hamilton's fastest lap was at Suzuka? I think you had it on
130.981.
Okay, and Verstappen did a 130.0 in P1.
Okay.
Obviously, this is race pace, right? This one.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
However, cars are faster now, right? Even though I think that all the records are going to be, breaking sooner than later.
Yeah. Even though they don't sound as good as they used to.
Oh yeah, it's only V6, right? Right now, when you compare it to what was before.
That's a good question. Probably a V12 or a V10, was it? And,
yes, they were both, I guess, during the hybrid era. Lewis and Mercedes had a V10.
Yeah. But the engine sizes were a lot bigger. Haven't we gone down to 2 litre now? I think.
Potentially.
Yeah. But,
What the size of engines?
Yeah.
They're only 1.6, I think.
Are they?
1.6 turbo, isn't it?
What?
That's insane.
That's what I've got in my Peugeot.
I've got a new Peugeot, a 1.2 turbo, and it's really quick.
Nippy.
1.6 4-stroke turbocharged V6. That's what it is. That's what they currently use, and they've been using them since 2014.
And then what's the regulation change in 26? What changes will that bring about?
Ooh, might have to search Google.
Is it not more to do with hybrid power? So they Formula One engine is about 1,000 horsepower from 1.6 litre.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Wow.
So the reg changes, as you said, Mark, more to do with the hybrid. So it's a reduction in combustion power and an increase in electrical power.
Yeah. And getting the fuel usage down to 70 kgs while still chucking out over
Less
1,000 brake
less
horsepower.
fuel, more power.
Nice.
So they're going from 120 kilowatts to 350 kilowatts. That's the difference.
Oh, that's awesome. So
Interesting. Yeah.
faster from 0 to 100. They're going to be, how do you call that? Torque or the initial
Acceleration.
launch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and if they've got more battery power, then they're going to have better attack and defense, or offense and defense capabilities on the track. You know, when they hit the overtake button and the defend button.
I don't know that. I mean, obviously, if you're going to have more power, are you going to have bigger battery, more weight, or are we continuing to develop the batteries so they're lighter? You know, that's the thing. They're saying that the V6 will have a third less power, so they're trying to replace that with
Right.
effectively.
Okay, so less about the KERS and more about the power unit itself, the engine.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, let's see Ferrari making e-cars.
Well, there's already
I mean,
exists.
the Formula E, the one bit I really like about the Formula E is the boost. I'd like to see that transferred into Formula One. And you see the Formula E where they go around, particularly a hairpin bend, and they go wide to go past an activation slot, and then that gives them more boost for the next 2 laps or 3 laps or something.
Oh wow!
I'd like to be able to see that in Formula One, where if you're chasing down, you've just changed tires, you're chasing down, you maybe want to go a little bit faster for a short period of time. You get that extra boost just with that. Right now, we're driven by, the design of the car and such like. But if you can add that extra bit of electrical boost to give you a little bit extra power for 2 or 3 laps, to me, I think it makes it more exciting and more opportunity for overtake. So that's a one piece from Formula E that I'd like to see transferred into Formula One.
Yeah.
How much lighter are Formula E cars, or are the same thing?
Don't think they're any lighter because they're full battery, aren't they? So you've still got hydraulics, you've still got weight of. We're all typing away here. Anyone in the audience?
within it looks like within about.
The only thing I must say though, right? So if you think of a Formula E car, if you remember Roman Grosjean's crash where he went into the barrier and was locked inside the barrier, that was a fire on a fuel engine. Now, I know that electric car fire is a lot more powerful and a lot more dangerous. So if he was in that Formula E car, would he have survived?
It's a good
That
question.
gives me. And thinking about, just for example, this brake exploding. Just imagine a little piece of battery exploding in the car. It's would be that 10 times bigger.
I mentioned that I used to do model car racing. So when they moved to lithium-ion batteries, they had. I've seen a small 10th scale car, the battery exploding when it's been hit and opened up. Oh my God! The power from a battery the size of a Mars bar compared to the size of a Formula E car. I can only imagine. But again, they need to be crash and crash resistant. So the product that's used is safe. I'm not saying it's safe, but it has to be of quite a high safety quality. So
yeah, it's an interesting question though, because we are seeing batteries explode in cars.
Well, Luton Airport.
I read Sonoda. I think he's interested in doing Formula E. I think he had a shot, and I think he's maybe thinking it's maybe more for him. Be a little bit more competitive, I think.
Yeah.
That is until the Red Bull seat opens up.
Well, he's not getting that. Come on.
He'll go to Lawson, I think.
Yeah. It depends.
He would have to.
Depends on the sponsorship. Yeah, Sonoda takes the Japanese sponsorship with him, so so it's there's a reason that Perez got the seat,
yeah.
Well,
Or will we see Sonoda go to Aston Martin as they go to a Honda engine?
Ooh.
Wouldn't it be good though to see Vettel back in a seat for a season?
What did I say at the beginning of the season?
You made his day now.
Vettel in Mercedes.
Who now owns Aston Martin then? Is it the Saudis?
Lawrence Stroll.
Yeah, Lawrence Stroll.
Yeah, but did he not sell? Have the Saudis not got a majority stake now? I read something the other day. Aramco. Saudi Aramco, obviously the national oil company. They were sparking takeover rumors.
Okay.
Formula One team, they sold the stake to a private equity firm, Arctos Partners. That was in November last year. I'm sure I saw something about Aramco slowly buying up shares. Okay.
Maybe. They're their main sponsor now. It is Aramco, Aston Martin F1.
There you go. Aramco, Aston Martin takeover. Target Verstappen.
Ooh.
Well, apparently Lawrence Stroll's made a pretty impressive offer to Newey.
Yeah.
Ronnie
Wilson wants Lawson to have the seat. Tell us why, Ronnie. Just because it's a cool name. Has he done enough for you?
I mean, his performances in the AlphaTauri last year, though, you can't turn your nose up at it, but whether he's done enough, I don't know. Time will tell. I don't think
Alex Albon is another. You know what I mean? It's there's these level of drivers that do well, and then given a chance and.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Albon's Red Bull career was marred by Hamilton. I swear there were like 2 or 3 races where
poor guy.
Albon should have been on the podium and Hamilton made contact and sent him off.
He was going to win. Like he had a win.
Yeah.
It was 2 laps to go, and then Hamilton left rear. Bye.
There's a really good on YouTube. There's a really good not documentary, but an interview with Albon, and it's an hour long. It's quite long, but some really telling stuff in it about how he nearly never got a drive for the Red Bull team at all, and how he convinced Helmut Marko and
Yeah.
he
he lent on his Thai heritage, didn't he, to get sponsorship?
I think if I remember rightly, he kind of, he did. He said he told some porkies in a diplomatic way to
Yeah.
be able to get the seat. So yeah,
Stretch
that's
the two, truth.
and his grandmother's at the Japanese race this weekend. So there you go.
Oh, that was funny. The picture of Norris.
Norris and his grandmother. Yeah.
I have a question for you guys. I know it's a little bit of silly season talk, but yesterday I was reading about the wants of Red Bull signing Norris, even though he already has a contract with McLaren. We have seen in the past that can be breaking, and he just could go to Red Bull, be Verstappen number 2. He's already his best friend.
Yeah.
You can see all posts after Verstappen wins. Norris like, "Congrats, Max. Happy
Yeah.
for you."
Are they best friends though?
Well, they are friends, and
friends,
we can see like on social media and stuff that they go
Yeah.
out and everything. But in this sport, you can say really friends, but colleagues. But what I think is, there's a huge admiration there.
There
That's
is,
something
but
you
would you
want
want to
for a
work with your friend?
That's something you want from a number 2. That is, he needs to look up to the number 1. So he already does it. I would think that he would be mad, giving a win to Max. But if they tell you here's a championship car or here's a McLaren, which one are you choosing?
Yeah, well, it's a good question. I think the trajectory that McLaren are on, what Zach Brown has done for the McLaren brand in his short tenure is nothing short of incredible. He's building a motorsport empire, and I think if they can keep going on that trajectory, McLaren might not be such a bad call, particularly given how toxic the environment is at Red Bull.
Yeah.
But then you get a shot at Jerry Halliwell.
Yeah.
You get to meet her at the Christmas party, so there's always a chance. So Ronnie's came back. The reason is the name. His performances were clean, with no prior experience in the seat or even in a Formula One seat with a car that's not so efficient. So imagine what you can do in a Red Bull, especially when we'll be able to craft it into that team from the beginning. It's a good point. Very good point.
Yeah. So this is under the assumption that Max is still at Red Bull next year and isn't a Mercedes driver.
Which I read this morning that there's been an offer and the FIA are now involved, I believe.
Oh, really?
An offer from Mercedes to Max?
There's been an offer. They were looking at 4 drivers. There's been an offer made and the FIA have been asked to look at it because there's a clause, I believe there's a clause in just about every driver's contract that if the number's right, I suppose they get the option to go.
Yeah. Well, the rumor is that in Max's contract, there's a release clause if Helmut Marko leaves Red Bull. And if we're to believe what the press is saying, Helmut Marko isn't happy with Horner. So it's pretty much everyone apart from, I can't remember which investor. There's 2 sort of majority shareholders in the Red Bull team. Horner's buddy with one, and then everyone else isn't so happy with Horner. But we shall see.
Yeah. Well, the other thing potentially could be the reason why the FIA are involved is with 2026 the budget caps. It's going to include driver salaries. So I wonder if there's an offer that's been made that somehow is so creative it affects the new rules in the future. A theory.
Yeah, good point.
Well, on that point as well, wasn't there something to do with the powertrain? That Max has an opportunity to leave if Red Bull's powertrain or something isn't producing the right numbers. I saw. could also give him more opportunity to leave. And then also I saw another video which because obviously what's happened with Horner, and the woman actually has kind of spoken out about it, kind of apparently it's a lot deeper than what we originally thought. So actually I think there could be more of a stir around the fact that Verstappen could leave. And to be honest, I would want that, right? Because then it would definitely mix things up a bit.
I think it is only a matter of time before the house of cards fall at Red Bull. Are Ford still involved? I saw something that they were thinking about pulling out, because obviously, is it as if next season they're no longer going to be Honda engines in the Red Bull? It's going to be RB powertrains powered by Ford.
But they're still on the I think they're still in.
Okay.
There's talk of them leaving. But conscious of time, George, we've got about 9 minutes to go. Should we do
predictions?
Predictions.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's. Can we add Mark? Yeah, you got him. Perfect.
In there. Who'd like to kick us off?
Verstappen, first place. Followed by Sainz, with Lando in third. Fastest lap goes to Perez.
Very similar to mine.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid prediction.
Yeah, it's a good one.
There's only one change I would make. I would go Verstappen first, Leclerc second, and Norris third, with Perez fastest lap time.
Say that one more time, a little bit slower for me.
Verstappen first, Leclerc second, and Norris third. I was going to put Sainz third, but I think Norris. And then, Checo fastest.
Oh, you can put Piastri fastest.
Yeah, Ronnie also just made a point, saying, I heard that Max said he would be intrigued to leave if the Horner scandal is not addressed, but he does not want to be associated with it.
Who does?
I know.
Right? But, okay. Sainz, second place. And then third place is going to be Perez. And this is going to be Norris' first win.
Wow.
Oh,
huge.
Verstappen taken out.
Yeah.
First corner.
Hopefully by Leclerc, then I'll get one on my bingo card.
Yeah, Jackie, I agree. I agree with you. I think Sainz will be partnering Russell at Mercedes. That's my pick next season. I think. I think his father's got a lot to do with it. I think.
Yeah, I think it's very well deserved that Sainz should be in a challenging car, but apparently Toto is convinced that it's going to Antonelli because he missed out on the chance to put Max in the Mercedes. The thinking being that they'll put him in the Mercedes for a year, no pressure, because they're moving all their resources to the 2026 reg changes. So he can get a hang of the car, get a hang for the team, and then 2026 comes along. He's got that year of experience under his belt, and he can
small salary.
Yeah,
within
the budget cuts. Yeah,
rookie salary. Yeah, that's a huge difference.
Whilst Ferrari are paying 100 million a year to Hamilton.
Exactly.
100 million a year to Hamilton, a blank check sent to Newey.
Yeah.
And
there's no more money for the car.
There'll be no development in the car. Yeah, what would you like, Hamilton? A fast car or a big salary? Nah.
Being Hamilton, already 7-time world champion. Come on, I need this money.
Yeah.
I'll go now then. Second place for me is Leclerc. Verstappen in first. And I'm going to go Piastri in third.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think Sainz is going to get fastest lap because he's going to get knocked out. And then he's just going to go for fastest lap on the last one. He'll go in for some tyres and take it. So go for Carlos.
Yeah.
Fastest.
Nice. I need some points. I need to go a bit differential here. I think I've got to put Verstappen, and then we're gonna go. Say differential. Gone pretty much exactly the same. And do you know what? I'll go Russell.
Albon, come on.
You should go Sainz second and third. Second and third. And then that'll make it points that way.
Yeah, guarantee. Guarantee. No,
Clear bases.
let's go Yuki. Yuki on the top step.
Yay.
And then fastest lap, we'll go with Norris.
Also, I've got something to add as well. So George Russell's crash that happened at the GP. Couple things on the crash. Did you know the first one being Sainz has only ever won a race
When
George
Russell
Russell has
crashed.
crashed out?
Yeah.
Second
Really?
thing, did you know Alonso did exactly the same thing to Vettel years ago, which actually caused Vettel also to crash out? Because of slowing down, it then changes the wind and the wind speed, how that affects the car. So obviously then when they like understeer and lose it, obviously they take a wider line or they do what George did.
Had
Looked a bit
Vettel
like
crashed
Woody.
out? Had Vettel crashed out as well when that happened?
Yeah, Vettel crashed out as well, which was also quite interesting.
Just on that point, I know there was only a lap left, but I was a little bit surprised they didn't red flag the race. Given that I can't remember, there was a death by something very similar. Car hit the wall, middle of the track, some smoke, and another driver literally just went straight in. Point of impact was where the cockpit was. I don't know if you've heard the radio message, like the fear that was in Russell's voice. It does make you wonder why they didn't red flag it and just not restart.
The car just looked like Woody laying down in the middle of the road. Do you know what I mean? It was a bit like, yeah,
Like this.
yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, chaps. Well, should we call it there?
Yeah.
Go off and do some work. Thank you very much for joining us, Mark. Are you going to be back? Is there a race next week? Are we straight to China next week?
No, I think it's a 2 week
Let
break.
me tell you.
2 week break to China,
Yeah.
and there's another 2 week break after China to the next one.
Okay, so next week we'll talk about biggest crashes and our most memorable moment.
Yeah.
So you've
all
got
here.
a week to prepare. What was that?
That's if we're all here after Monday's eclipse. There you go.
Oh, is it an eclipse on Monday?
Yeah, solar eclipse. And it's the one where there's going to be billions of cicadas or locusts, as we call them. Have a read online about that, about the 8th of April and the end of the world.
Cool.
Like,
Thanks
Armageddon.
for, we're ending on a high note.
Who's got an underground bunker when you need one?
It's new moon rising.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, thanks for joining us, Mark. So will we see you
problem.
again?
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck this weekend, everybody.
Cool.
Thanks
Take
for
care,
everybody
guys.
for joining and listening as well.
Au revoir.